Well, I don't know that he liked better. He liked them all. He played the piano just as well, too.
Was he composing classical type work?
He was always writing.
Writing music?
Music always.
Did he have avant-garde leanings back then?
Yeah, well, I think after avant-garde became popular, then he was very interested, because to him that was a form of classical jazz. Yeah, that's why he liked it. Because he was more, as I say, the long-haired type.
Did he get to, when was the first time that he got out of LA, got to New York?
When he went with Chico Hamilton. When he left
58.
here. That was his first time he ever left with the professional group.
And he had played till then with Gerald Wilson, Buddy Collette.
Gerald Wilson, Buddy Collette. What's this other fellow's name that the first fellow he played with?
You got his record over there.
Yeah, that they went away one time.
Carter.
What's his name, Carter?
Yeah.
No, it's in there. I think I have the picture of him with that orchestra. You remember you went away with them one time?
Yeah.
It was the mountain. He sent it back, and it was like damaged.
He played with Mingus in LA.
No, in New York.
Not until like 1960.
Yeah, in New York. Maybe that other one has it, that bottom one.
This one?
Yeah. No. No, that one.
Besides the music, he didn't really have any particular jobs besides playing music.
No, he just... No, he said he was going to be a musician. He wasn't going to do anything else.
Can't hurt those hands.
I don't know what it did with that picture.
Was there any time when he became discouraged with playing music at all?
Yes, when he couldn't get into work.
Did he ever stop for any period of time?
No. He kept on working at it because he figured, well, someday, somehow.
Practice harder.
He would make it, you know. Here was when he played with Tacoma Symphony. With the program. What's this guy's name?
Did you tend to encourage him to be a musician?
I did at times, and at times I told him when he was going was rough, I'd say, finish up and get your degree in teeth. Instead of...
Not for me.
And he said, no, that wasn't for him.
Well, I guess it scared you a lot, the idea.
No, it didn't scare us. We just felt that he should make a good living, you know, other than just struggle. Even when he went to New York, he struggled because...
About a year.
Between jobs, you know.
Did he start making money at some point? Good money?
No, he never. No. His best years were with Chico Hamilton. Yeah. And then after that in New York, he was freelancing. And he worked with different groups, you know. Or he would have a group himself.
Since he's been gone, has there been any money coming in?
Yeah.
It's been reason.
His records, you know.
You get royalties?
Yeah, fair, you know, not anything.
Did he tend to realize how great he was? Did he?
No.
He was always real modest.
He was always real modest, and when anyone would say anything, he'd say, well. And we never realized either how well thought of he was until he died. So many people would call us, and people from Europe and different.
The first time he went to Europe was in 1961.
Yes.
And then he went 2 other times.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever get there at all?
No, not in Europe, no.
Did he write?
Oh, he'd call and write all the time. He kept, we were very close family.
He expressed happiness when he was in Europe?
Well, he was always a happy person. Even if things weren't good, you never knew it.
He never got bitter, really?
No. No. He was always happy, and he was always helping someone else. That's what they would always say to me, that even though he didn't have too much money, he'd be always taking something to somebody else or helping some musician, if he thought they were out of work or something. I know in the early years, when he was here at home, there were times that he'd say he had a job, and then he would be at home. I'd say, I thought you had a job. Oh, something happened or something. Well, after he died, musicians came to tell us that when they came to town and he found out they had a family, that he would give them his job. Even take them to the job sometimes, because he always had a car. And he'd tell them, well, you have a family and kids, and I live at home. I can always eat.
What was there that you liked best about Eric?
Oh, he was
fun. Really great memories.
Oh, he was fun person, and he always enjoyed being home. Because I know a lot of times we didn't expect him, and the doorbell would ring, and here he'd be, and I'd say, well, why don't you let me know you're coming home? He says, oh, I just got to working and didn't have any commitment for the next 2 days. I called him plane. Here I am.
Did he like to be out on the West Coast?
Love it here.
Uh-huh.
He loved it here.
He liked to go out to the ocean.
He liked swimming. He liked sports. He played tennis. He was all around. He loved everything. But music was first. And he always had a lot of friends. Even right now, Jerry Wilson and him are very close friends. And Buddy Collette.
Are you at all bitter in terms of his not getting recognition while he's still alive?
Oh, no.
No, Freddie.
No.
He wasn't that big. Just before he died, he was just getting up.
He was just coming into
his own when he passed away. He was just coming in his own to be recognized.
But things could have been so much better, it seems.
Oh, it could have been better, but as we know, life is a struggle, and as I said, we are people that are used to struggling. It don't mean anything to us.
He wasn't bitter.
No, we weren't either.
Was it hard on you when critics put him down?
Oh.
It hurt me. And I read it in a magazine and said, Dad, just long as the spellman is right. I don't care what they say.
Yeah, I know it felt wrong too.
But, no, we're people that are not bitter. Why, wish them well.
Well, do you have any wishes, or is there anything that you'd like to see different now?
What, as far as he is concerned? Well, I just feel he's gone, but I'm just grateful that he lives on. People think about him, and he's still alive as far as his music is concerned. To us, we feel very grateful. We hated losing him, but we're very grateful. We feel privileged that he's still with us, His music is here, and all his friends, and Everyone thinks so much of him.
The biography, the Moscow Temperament, you think it's a good book, basically?
Huh, I think so.
Did you talk with the authors?
No, I never talked to them, but we corresponded with writing. Mm-hmm. Moscow was the only one.
The other one did a discography.
I never had any correspondence with him. And when we were in Washington, D.C. last year, we met Mr. Williams at the Smithsonian Institution. He spoke very highly of Eric.
Was there a tribute last year?
I don't know. Someone told me there was. We don't always know about these things until somebody tells us about it. There was one in Washington, D.C. I think they did it at Howard. A friend of ours' son studied communications there, and he said they had a program. I think he worked on it. But, and in New York, I think they have different things. I don't know of any here in Los Angeles other than radio. Jerry Wilson, his friend, program. And there was another young man called me once. He was with that station at USC. And they had a program on
Howard plays record.
Yeah, dedicated to it.
Yeah, I would think that there'd be a lot of memorials all the time. It seems that he's been publicized mostly because he died so young, and people started realizing what was going on. And I would think that you'd have a lot of people coming to talk to you.
Well, they have been, but as I said, mostly youngsters that are studying music. They didn't know him. They just read about him and wanted to meet us and talk about him. They would call and ask us if they'd come. If they could come and talk to us.
Do you have any ideas what he would advise people? What advice he could possibly help people with?
I think he'd tell them to practice. Because that's all he did. He would get up in the morning before he went to school, say about 4:30 or 5, and practice till it's almost time to get his breakfast and leave for school. And he'd hurry home to start practicing again until way late in the evening till we would tell him, you know. And he had a little studio built outside. So afterwards where he could be out there without.
Did he mostly just practice scales and exercise?
Yes, and tone qualities and things. He'd blow one note all day long.
I've seen him blow one note on the saxophone for weeks at a time. And I've been out in the yard working, I'd go in and said, there's no more playing a saxophone with that one. And then he played, then he put on his tape recorder, and he'd have it, and he listened to it. He said, that has got to be right. They sound right to me. No, it's not right yet.
And he sometimes we'd be asleep and we'd hear plunking on the piano, and he'd say, "Hey, what you doing?" He says, "Well, I just got an idea." And he'd start. He said he'd be writing, you know. And we'd tell him his daddy had to go to work. He'd have to get up and go too, but he'd stop and do all that. When he came over there, he had an orchestra here. It used to be the Oasis at Western Avenue.
Did he live? He was leading it, or he was playing?
Yeah, he was his own group. Yeah, and he was there. He went in there for what, 2 weeks to stay there a year.
It was a club?
Yes, it was a club on Western Avenue. It was called the Oasis then.
What sort of music was he playing then?
Oh, modern jazz, you know. They called it bebop then. And he was devoted to the church. He taught Sunday school and did music. And they used to have an early morning breakfast concert at 6 o'clock. And he'd come in at 2 after the night, closing. And he'd get up and go for a 6 o'clock breakfast and come home and he sang in the choir. And he'd get on there to church to sing in the choir. And then after that, he'd come home and go to bed. So he was very devoted to his church and Sunday school and everything.
Did that influence his music?
I think so. I think so.
In any particular way? Do you think his music is communicating a spiritual influence? Or is it more subtle?
I don't know. Just he did both. Because when he was in junior high and the church, the pastor, he didn't have a piano and he was studying piano and the pastor would allow him, give him a key to go into the church and practice on the piano. And he also would practice on the organ. And he had, I think I have a program where he was director of the youth group choir.
Do you have any feeling that he was saying trying to make a point in his poem, try to say something to people?
I think so.
What sort of people was he talking to, basically?
I think so. I think he was trying to send a message out.
Well, he was always for peace, and love and do good. Because whenever he could help anyone, he went out of the way to do it. He believed in helping people.
He covered the bird, singing, and he covered the bird that plays the instrument. And I guess those birds knew he was covering, but they was whistling back at him.
Well, he'd play a note, and they'd answer, and he'd play another note. He practiced out. That's why this fellow did this painting of it. Uh-huh. Yeah, because this is the way he sat outside and practiced. And, but I don't know, he was a happy fellow. He didn't let things bother him too much. If he didn't get a job and they called him, he'd say, oh, well, be another one along.
He always had instruments. He had his own instruments.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Had his own instrument. And he always, after he began working, he always had 2 and 3 sets of instruments. When he had just had a new bass clarinet made for him and a saxophone in France. And he had taken them too. Took them to Berlin with him, and I don't think he ever used them.
No, he didn't use them, but it came in the case, all packed in paper.
Well, do you have any regrets at all?
No.
You're
No.
happy with it?
No, he feels that it was the Lord's will.
But if he was living and couldn't play anymore, he'd be a very disagreeable
Oh, he would be very unhappy.
Have it for him. If he couldn't play anymore,
For music was his life.
yeah.
The bump on his head, do you know what that was?
No. He had that taken off just before he left for Europe. He said he had a condition. He thought it was his tooth. He had very good set of teeth, And he went to a dentist. And the dentist noticed that. He thought it was caused from that. But they never said what it was. At least he didn't tell him.
Did it bother him having it?
No, I don't think so.
No, it didn't hurt him either.
He just wanted it removed.
No, he didn't want it removed. He said he went and he was very comical about it. He said he went. They took him to this clinic in Columbia, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Columbia Hospital? One of those. And they took him to this clinic, and he said before he knew it, the doctor had him on the table and told him it had to come out, and it was out. And I have a sister in New York, and she tried to get him to rest, come over to her home and rest after that was done. And he said, it wasn't nothing. He kept on working.
Okay. Thanks a lot. That's really beautiful to hear. This things that nobody knew before.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
So, but you just feel he's gone, but he lives. He was our only son, only child.
Well,
I like what you would call soft music, sweet music, you know. Some jazz. We didn't know whether he was or whether he wasn't, because he never, if he didn't work, he wouldn't say. We never knew whether he wasn't working or not. He wouldn't tell us.
We could always tell when he's working, when he called in the morning, 3:30 and 4. I said, fella, he said, Papa today. He said, what do you think I'm doing? I said, what are you doing up this time in the morning for? Just get off from work. So,
well, if he wasn't working, he'd probably be going close.
that's right. All right. And I didn't have the car washed when I give it to see it is nice and clean. New York. Had the oil change and everything, just cost me $25. I did it in New York.
The whole trip for
The whole
gasoline.
trip. And I drove my Ford back there, it cost me $100 one way.
Yes, a lot cheaper.
Well, you get some less cheaper, but still did.
At that time, and they called and wanted to do it, and he told them he couldn't do it because I was there, and he didn't have time for them to spend no day with him.
Do you know who did that?
I don't even know we did it. He said I was there, and we had things to do. He didn't have time for anybody to come and spend the day with him. Because whenever I was there, he was always taking me places, and we'd go around together. One. The first one he did was Outward Bound. I don't know what, it must have been 59. Because that was the first one he did, with Prestige.
Was he pretty excited about that? Was that a really big thing?
He never, we never knew because he didn't, just about, because the record company would send him one, you see. And when they did that thing for war bonds, when he was in junior high, I believe it was, he would buy the records and play them and copy off, write all the parts for the band. Is Mr. Rusk on the bed?
No. He thought it was 9 o'clock.
Oh. You turned the television off?
No, it's good.
Okay.
It's a...
Recordings they did with Roy Porter.
It's only one side?
I don't know if it's only one side or what. Uh-huh, yeah.
In Europe, right? Letters from people all over Europe. It was great about his music. And he did in Japan.
you go to Japan?
He didn't get. He had a contract to go there. When he died. As I say, he was just about 5 years that he really was on the scene, and just getting to be well known and popular. No.
He started to have some success in 64.
Yes.
I read that he wrote for some other people to come to the show.
Yes. And he did Mangus' tour first, and then started his tour.
I was there for 6 months.
Because he had enough contracts all in France, in Paris, and everywhere. He did the Oslo concert in Paris, and he had just gone to Berlin. And that was his first night.